While I was burying my 9-year-old alone, my family was celebrating across town. Hours later, my mum texted, "Call me, it's important." She wasn't talking about my son. She meant his $850,000 trust fund. The casket is so small it rips my breath away. My 9-year-old son, Caleb, lies inside, his body still, his laughter silenced forever. My hands tremble as they lower him into the earth, the mechanical whir of the pulley systems slicing through the quiet cemetery air. I press my palms against my black dress, then clutch them until my knuckles ache. But the shaking won't stop. Tears carve silent rivers down my cheeks, and I don't bother wiping them. My knees wobble, threatening to collapse under the weight of this moment. The cemetery worker glances at me, his eyes asking for a signal I'm ready. I'll never be ready. How could I be? 8 months ago, the doctors named the beast, stealing Caleb's strength, a rare blood disorder, they said, as if a label could tame it. Caleb took it better than I did, his small face solemn but resolute. "Will it hurt?" he asked, voice steady. "Sometimes," the doctor replied, "but we'll do everything we can." Through needles, transfusions, and fevers that left him trembling, he never complained. Even when his body betrayed him, he'd look at me with his father's eyes and say, "I'm okay, Mum. Don't worry, Amazad." Now I stand alone by his grave, the absence of my family a wound as raw as Caleb's loss. My parents, my sister Victoria, my best friend Melissa, they're all missing. I'm hollowed out, the ache a physical thing, clawing at my chest. I pull out my phone, a reflex I instantly regret. Victoria's Instagram loads, and there she is at her engagement party at the Grand Horizon Hotel, happening now. Champagne glass raised, diamonds sparkling, my parents beaming beside her. The post is 20 minutes old, time-stamped while the minister spoke words that couldn't capture Caleb's spirit. My stomach twists. They chose her party over his funeral. "Are you doing all right, dear?" Angela, my elderly neighbour, touches my arm, her weathered hand warm with genuine care. She's the only one here, the only one who showed up. For 18 months, she brought meals when hospital visits drained me, sat with Caleb so I could shower or sleep. They didn't come, I whisper, voice breaking. Not one of them. Angela's eyes soften, but I'm lost in memories of Caleb's laugh, bright, uncontained before the illness stole it. At 7, he'd declared he'd be a doctor to fix kids like me. He wore superhero pajamas to chemo, insisting superheroes are brave, even when they're scared. "That boy loved you more than anything," Angela says. I nod, remembering Ethan, my ex-husband, setting up an $850,000 college trust for Caleb before moving overseas. "If anything happens, you're the beneficiary." "Honor his memory," he'd said. He couldn't have known how soon those words would matter. My phone buzzes. A text from my mother. "We need to talk. Bring the trust documents tomorrow." I stare, rereading it. They skipped Caleb's funeral but want his trust fund? Cold clarity cuts through my grief. Something's wrong. I'm burying my son today. I can't talk about paperwork, I type back. Her reply is instant. "Don't be dramatic, Destiny. This is important for the whole family who couldn't spare 2 hours for Caleb. I see it now. They're coordinated, united, while I'm alone, vulnerable." What are they planning? How long have they been scheming? I show Angela the text, her face hardening. They can't possibly think. I turn off my phone. This moment is Caleb's. They won't steal it. The worker approaches, hesitant. "We need to finish the service." My body freezes. Walk away? Leave Caleb here? Angela steps in. "Give her a moment. She's saying goodbye." I pull out Caleb's favourite action figure, the one he clutched through every hospital stay kneeling. I place it on his casket. "I'll protect what's yours, I promise," I whisper. As I stand, a spark ignites through the fog of grief. They won't take his legacy without a fight. The next morning, drizzle mirrors my mood as I drive to my parents' colonial home in Oakwood Heights. My knuckles whiten on the steering wheel, dread tightening my throat. Seeing them after they chose Victoria's party over Caleb's funeral feels like walking into a trap Melissa's silver BMW is parked out front. Of course she's here. My father opens the door, his concern a mask that doesn't reach his eyes. Destiny, come in. We've been waiting. The living room feels like a courtroom. Victoria sits primly on the sofa, blonde hair perfect. Melissa avoids my gaze, studying her nails. My mother stands by the mantel, hand on a framed photo of us smiling. Always a performance. No one mentions Caleb. No apologies. My father cuts to the chase, sliding a document across the coffee table. We need to reallocate the trust with Victoria as trustee. Sign here. I don't move. What are you talking about? Victoria leans forward. You're in no condition to manage this money. We're helping. My mother's voice drips with false sympathy. You've always been impulsive. Remember that boutique idea after college? I look to Melissa, hoping for a trace of our old friendship. She glances away, her silence a betrayal. We've spoken with Ethan's lawyer, my father says. Given your mental state, he agrees this is prudent. The words hit like fists. I pick up a document, legal jargon about mental competency. Another page catches my eye. Trust law research dated 14 months ago, when Caleb was first hospitalized. You've been planning this since he got sick, I whisper. While I was by his bed, you were plotting to take his money if he died, Victoria sighs. You're exaggerating. My father slides another paper. If you refuse, we'll petition for guardianship. The court will see your grief has compromised you. The betrayal crystallizes. For 8 months, they dismissed Caleb's illness. My mother. It's probably just anemia. My father. Doctors are exploiting your anxiety. Victoria refusing hospital visits. He's just going to get better. I spot renovation plans under the documents. A $200,000 kitchen for Victoria's new house, a pool, a theatre. You never visited him, I say, voice steadying. Not once. Victoria tosses her head. We all grieve differently. Her cruelty stuns me. They're not my loving family. They're opportunists, using Caleb and me as props. Why now? I ask. Victoria glances at my parents. Robert's company has cash flow issues. The wedding might be postponed. My mother fidgets. And the Hilton Head property we're extended. My father softens his tone. We're family facing difficulties. Melissa speaks, voice small. My divorce is final soon. Victoria promised me a job. They're not villains, just scared people sacrificing me for their comfort. If you don't sign, we'll take drastic measures, my father warns. I gather the documents and stand. I need time. Destiny, he snaps. I close the door behind me. In my car, I press my forehead to the steering wheel, overwhelmed. Angela texts. How did it go? Before I reply, Ethan's parents call. We're so sorry we couldn't be at the funeral, Martha says, her grief real. We loved Caleb so much, George adds. Their sincerity contrasts with my family's performance. I remember Ethan's words. Contact Richard Donovan, the best trust attorney hope flickers. I'm not alone. Angela, Ethan's parents, Richard. I call Donovan's office. I need to speak with him about the Caleb Walker Trust, I say, voice steady. Richard's office smells of leather and polish. I clutch my documents, knuckles white. After 2 sleepless nights researching trust law, I'm still unsure of my rights. Richard, silver-haired and kind-eyed, rises. I'm sorry about your son. His empathy feels genuine. I slide the folder over. My family wants me to sign over the trust. They say I'm not mentally stable. They didn't attend his funeral, he asks, shocked. No. Victoria had her engagement party instead. He pulls out a folder with Ethan's name revealing a notarized statement. This trust is for Caleb's future and if the worst happens, for Destiny, who sacrificed everything. Tears blur my vision. Ethan foresaw this. Richard shows phone records. My parents and Victoria called his office about trust provisions last year. They knew the terms before Caleb died, I realise. The trust is ironclad, Richard says. They have no legal standing. He suggests a public meeting with my family. Document everything. 2 days later, I sit at Riverside Coffee, a manila envelope before me. The bustling shop feels safe. Angela waits outside, Richard on standby. My family arrives, Victoria in sunglasses, my parents trailing, Melissa avoiding my eyes. Victoria reaches for the envelope. You've signed. I place my hand on it. Why didn't you come to Caleb's funeral? My mother sighs. Victoria's engagement was planned. It was your grandson's funeral, I say. I slide out Instagram screenshots. Champagne, laughter. During Caleb's service, you were celebrating. Victoria flushes. You're taking it out of context. I reveal the trust terms, highlighted. Ethan's intentions are clear. The money is mine. You don't deserve it. Victoria snaps, voice rising. Customers stare. I'm not signing, I say, standing. You've already made things difficult my whole life, I walk out. Their stares burning my back. Angela smiles from her car. You stood up to them. Richard confirms we're legally strong. Ethan's parents offer to testify. Mark, my old co-worker, texts support. The weight on my chest lightens. I touch Caleb's photo on my dashboard. His smile radiant. First step done. Buddy Angela squeezes my hand. They won't give up. We'll be ready, she says. 3 days later, I spread documents across Richard's desk. Grief pulsing but joined by cold resolve. They'll file for guardianship, Richard says. Claiming you're unfit, I nod, studying my timeline of Caleb's illness. Every appointment, their absence. Victoria will use Mum and Dad, maybe Melissa. Smart, Richard says. I show my calendar. Every hospital visit documented. 0 visits from them, I say, voice catching. Angela's journals, Caleb's oncologist, his teacher. All support me. I've installed security cameras, collected screenshots of their dismissive texts. Angela texts. Melissa's asking about Caleb's treatment schedule. She signed an affidavit, I realize, betrayal cutting deep. She'll claim I was erratic. Doubt creeps in. Maybe I am falling apart. Don't, Richard says. Angela arrives with journals, detailing my devotion. You never faltered, she says. My hands steady. We're building a monument to truth. That night, I tape a photo to Richard's evidence board. My parents at Victoria's party. 42 minutes after Caleb's burial, the board chronicles their betrayal, my care. Will it be enough? It's more than enough, Richard says. Angela texts. 23 neighbours signed the petition. I've documented every interaction, every lie. They're painting me as unstable online. But courts don't decide on Instagram likes, Richard says. Victoria accessed Caleb's medical records illegally, and they've contacted my old colleagues. We'll add a defamation counterclaim, Richard says. I think of Caleb's courage. Let them try. We have the truth. The sheriff's knock jolts me. He hands me an envelope. Emergency petition for guardianship. They want control of me. Richard calls. They've filed. Melissa's affidavit twists my weakest moments, sobbing, forgetting meals, into instability. They've accessed Caleb's records, highlighted my depleted savings. The hearings tomorrow. The newspaper headline, family seeks help for grieving mother, turns my stomach. Victoria's post, feigning concern, garners sympathy. They've convicted me in public opinion, I say. Courts don't work that way, Richard replies. Ethan's parents, Angela, neighbours, Caleb's doctor. All support me. At 9:48 p.m, Victoria appears on my porch. I record her. Drop the petition or we'll destroy your reputation, she threatens. You were always the burden. I close the door, calm. Richard calls the recording perfect. Angela stays over. Tomorrow we show them strength, she says. In Caleb's room, I hold his dinosaur, his glow-in-the-dark stars faintly shining. Tomorrow's for you, I whisper to his photo. In court, Judge Peabody demands evidence, not emotion. My family's attorney paints me as erratic. Melissa testifies I was obsessive, paranoid. My mother's crocodile tears sway the judge. Fear grips me. They're winning. Richard shifts the tide, presenting hospital records. My devotion. The records administrator confirms Victoria's illegal access. Angela testifies to my strength. Ethan's father confirms the trust's purpose. The security recording plays. Victoria's threats echo. My family's voices from the coffee shop reveal their greed. The judge dismisses the petition, orders a perjury investigation, grants a restraining order, and secures the trust. You've acted with remarkable strength, she tells me. Angela, Richard, Ethan's parents embrace me. Caleb would be proud, Angela says. Outside, I face reporters. Justice was done for my son. I touch Caleb's locket, his smile fueling me. A week later, I meet my financial advisor. The trust will fund the Caleb Walker Memorial Wing and a scholarship program. The restraining order holds Victoria's engagement is off. My parents face charges. Melissa's fired. Angela drives me home. You kept your promise, she says. That night, I dream of Caleb laughing. Strong Richard confirms the foundation's security. Neighbours bring meals, a new family forming. 6 months later, at the hospital, the Caleb Walker Wing, gleams Jennifer, the first scholar. Thanks me. The foundation helps families, nurses, research. I speak at support groups, my voice steady. A year after the funeral at Caleb's grave, a woman approaches her daughter Emma, survived because of the foundation. Your son saved her life. I place Caleb's action figure by his headstone. I kept my promise. Surrounded by Angela, Richard, Ethan's parents, I'm not alone. Betrayal forged my strength. I'm living Caleb's legacy, his courage, my guide.